In July of 2021, the founder and CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, was on the up. He even toyed with the idea of one day acquiring Goldman Sachs and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. A few months later, in January of 2022, FTX raised $400 million, reaching a valuation of $32 billion. FTX, unlike Binance, its chief competitor, was friendly with American legislators and regulators. It even paid to sponsor the home arena of the Miami Heat. It was a friendly face in the otherwise wild west of crypto and blockchain. Much has changed in a short amount of time. On November 11th of 2022, FTX, the second largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, filed for bankruptcy. This sent shockwaves through the media and financial community. The collapse unfolded with breathtaking speed and caught a lot of blue-chip investors completely off guard. Among them were renowned VC Sequoia and Softbank, possibly two of the world's most famous venture capital funds, Paul Tudor Jones and Israel Englander, two hedge fund luminaries, and Temasek, Singapore's sovereign wealth fund. John Ray III, the lawyer who presided over the bankruptcy of Enron, will serve in the same capacity for FTX. He recently said, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here." This is unambiguously bad news for cryptocurrencies. The collapse of FTX is a big deal, not just because this giant institution quickly went bankrupt, but because it throws into doubt crypto's most attractive and differentiating feature, decentralization. Let's take a deep dive into the collapse of FTX and the implications for cryptocurrencies. Let's begin with a simple question. Why is crypto valuable? We know lots of people have bought it at a higher and higher price since 2020, which means a lot of people got rich fast. There's undoubtedly a speculative element to cryptocurrency investment, as a lot of people also lost money in recent months. At its core, there's also an intellectual case behind crypto. All blockchains that underpin cryptocurrencies guarantee one essential thing: decentralization. Decentralized authority over a currency is nominally attractive for a number of reasons. First, no single entity can unilaterally affect its value. A government can always print more currency and lower its value, but the number of a particular crypto coin increases according to an algorithm with a fixed maximum. Second, decentralization can lower transaction costs. Rather than using banks and lawyers to complete large transactions, a transaction completed in cryptocurrency is nominally much cheaper, as the blockchain, collectively compiled and secured through distributed computing power, displays an unalterable record of account. Third, crypto is largely unregulated, and in cases where regulation does occur, it's easy to shift assets to more favorable jurisdictions, like the Bahamas. In short, there are two underlying drivers to the value of crypto. The first is speculative and temporary, building today in the hope that others buy at a higher price tomorrow. The second is intellectual or theoretical, rather than speculative. It's the conviction that the financial system can be transformed from a centralized model to a decentralized one. Yes, there might be a lot of price fluctuation along the way, but in the long run, the intellectual holders of crypto are taking a stake in what they believe could be a new financial system, one that wouldn't be controlled by arbitrary governments and megabanks prone to collapse. Now, what does all this mean for FTX? FTX was advertised as an exchange. This means that users, both institutional and individual, could hold their cryptocurrency deposits on the platform and easily trade between coins or out of coins entirely into cash. Apart from the deposit feature, this isn't very different from the service the New York Stock Exchange provides. In reality, though, FTX was operating like a highly leveraged investment bank before the financial crisis. In the financial crisis, investment banks funded themselves not through customer deposits, but from short-term loans. To secure a loan, they posted poor quality collateral, namely mortgage-backed securities. They'd then use those loans to pursue their activities, including highly leveraged trading in financial instruments. What did FTX do that was similar? It issued a token and listed it as an asset on its balance sheet. Crucially, FTT holders could purchase the token preferential trading terms on FTX. For a time, a large portion was held by FTX itself, or was locked up, meaning it could control the price. But FTX lent large sums of FTT, as well as customer deposits, to Sam Bankman-Fried's Alameda Research, a crypto hedge fund of which his girlfriend was the CEO. Alameda Research then used FTT as collateral for large loans to fund its leveraged crypto trading activities. This worked very well when cryptocurrencies were skyrocketing, but as prices began to fall, Alameda started to register losses. Over time, as the losses grew, Alameda had to post its FTT as collateral to lenders, like Binance. But remember, this FTT was lent to Alameda from FTX, so FTX wasn't getting its FTT back. Moreover, customer deposits were lost as well. Alameda's trading losses directly lowered the asset side of FTX's balance sheet. Meanwhile, deposits to which customers of the exchange were entitled had disappeared, although this wasn't yet known. Here's where things get even more complicated. Just as Alameda was losing money, FTX was acting as a white knight in the crusade to support the wider crypto system. In particular, it committed to the $1.4 billion bailout of Voyager Digital and $250 million loan to BlockFi. The rug was pulled out when Binance tweeted on the back of a now famous investigatory article in CoinDesk that it would liquidate its FTT holdings. This article showed what we know now, the intimate financial ties between Alameda and FTX. Binance held about 5% of total FTT coins issued. This not only led to a dramatic fall in the FTT price, it signaled to the market that FTX was a house on digital cards created out of thin air. Again, the words of the new FTX administrator, John Ray III, from compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad, to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals, this situation is unprecedented. So here's the rundown. A systemically important exchange, which managed to convince some of the most highly pedigreed and successful investors on the planet, lost and potentially stole billions of dollars of customer money. Let's set aside outright theft and bad faith for a moment and focus on the fundamentals. In many respects, the FTX collapse embodies the very problems with a traditional, centralized financial system that the intellectual believers in the cryptocurrency hope to overturn. Indeed, the concentration of risk in a systemically important intermediary has proven to be an existential threat to the entire system. Customers will now fear the opaque relationships of intermediaries and the high degree of leverage among the key ones. FTX was at the forefront of crypto institutionalization, and it proved to be highly irresponsible. In financial systems, when a single important institution collapses, others tend to follow. Think of it like a circle of dominoes. If one domino falls anywhere in the circle, dominoes elsewhere can fall too. Cryptocurrencies may be decentralized, but the intermediaries on which the ecosystem thrives, they're centralized. Will there be a crypto winter followed by a spring, or will crypto never be the same? It's up to you to make that call.